Okay. Yeah. So user management. So we are not going to discuss about the in detailed way in the user management. Why? Because in the user management we have the R3 security, GRC security, GRC security, and HR security. So we have many security teams are there. So GRC, HR, and BPC. So these are the security parts are available actually, but these are the separate in-depth skills are required. But R3 security is very simple actually. So very simple means so only few transaction codes which are useful for the R3 security. So in that, so we will discuss about the how to create the user, then how to create the roles in that user. So how to assign the role to user and the privileges. So these things will discuss about the in the user administration tab. Okay. So in the user administration tab, if you see user, so definitely why security is required means so to protect the system or data from unauthorized access. So and also if you define the role, so based upon the role, so user can act like instead of wider access, we can limit the access also. Only security person, security related activities, development person, development related activities. So functional, so manager, so what sales person, sales related activities. Only so those people can perform the so those related activities, right? So here in the so here in the SAP also same in the outside, whenever you log into the any banking sector systems or anything, how you have the user IDs. So same here also we have the user ID and role concept here. User ID and role concept. So role concept in the SAP. So here we need, but here additionally we have the role concept. It means not additionally. Here we have the so client. So if you want to log into the system, you need to enter the client number by default client number. Then so and also user ID and the password you have to enter it. So without this one, you cannot log into our SAP system. Without this one, you cannot log into our SAP systems. Cannot log in. But because so this is very important here. The client user IDs creations and everything, right? Why? Because each user there is a specific role. So based upon that role, user can access those related transaction codes and everything. So suppose HR as in suppose accounts are related transaction codes, it does not require any other things, accounts, logistics. So whoever required, only who can that person can access the that related functionalities in SAP systems. So all persons can log into the SAP system, one SAP system. So different departments they can use the one single SAP system in the so in the real time also they will use the same. So all persons will log in, but not one user ID for all persons. Each person there is a separate user ID, individual user IDs we have to create it. Why? Because for tracking purpose, for the approval purpose, all these things. Okay. So in this way also, so these are the some of the transaction codes which we will discuss in the user management. SU01, SU10, so PFCG, then SU21, I guess. So then SU53. So these are the some of the transaction codes for the so users creations, role creations, right? So regarding the role is very important actually. The role creation we have to do it in the PFCG transaction code. So to manage the role authorization data, we can use the role maintenance and the role profile generator. So for the authorization perspective, the profile generator is required, right? So based on that, so how can we do that one? How can we go ahead and create the role here? So first of all, user creation. So we can use the single user creation. We can use it. Suppose if you have the mass user creation, mass users means multiple users. If you want to create it, you can use the so SU10 mass user creation. PFCG. So it's kind of role creation, role and authorizations. This is for the authorizations, display the authorization errors. To display the authorization errors, display the authorization errors here. So if I log into the system, initially we don't have any user. Let's go ahead and create the one user in the SU01. So SU01 is the transaction code for creation of the users here. Here, let me create some basis user. I'm creating the one basis user. So here we can use the create button or you can copy from other users also. You can create the user, or you can copy from the other user also. Other users means we have the, so you have the already user is exist, you need same user related things and everything, you can create it. So first of all, just click on the create button. Okay, so create button. So when you're creating the user, so the form will be displayed here. The form, one form will be displayed here. So in that form, so we have the, so we have the types. Actually, you can see the form. So here you can see the different tabs are available here. Different tabs are available here, right? So let's discuss about the, so here, so different tabs. So here when you're creating the tab, here title, what is the title, which user you are going to create? So maybe Mr. So what is the last name? Maybe I can just mention SAP, right? So you can, if you want to fill all the details, you can fill all the details, but email address is the mandatory for, so employees. Actually, normal email address is the mandatory. Maybe here I can write like some, suppose like I can write like some SAP basis dot just dummy email ID I'm putting here just for understanding purpose. Okay, I'm putting. Why? Because so if you mention this email user ID, this user related anything, any transaction, anything, you will get the emails. Last time we discussed Scott and everything, right? So these things. So then you can go ahead. You can go ahead and go to the logon tab. Address tab, you have filled it. Go to the logon tab. In the logon tab, you have the types of users here. In the logon tab, you have the types of users. Address tab you have filled. So we have the types of users. So we have the 5 types of users here, right? So types of users here. And I will write it here. Types of users here. So here types of users. So dialog user. So dialog user. So what does it mean by dialog user? So dialog user is normally used for the access in the system access, interactive system access. So normal human users means humans will log in through dialog users. Why? Because dialog work process will take care of our request, so that we are the dialog users. So dialog users has, so they will log in from SAP GUI. Only dialog users can log in from SAP GUI. If you create the system user, then ask system user to log in from GUI means you cannot log in. Only dialog users can log in from the GUI. So dialog user I selected. So and also we have the system user also. System user means normally system user is used for the background processing, for communication within the system, like background jobs. Suppose background jobs. Normally, if you use the dialog, we can also use the dialog user, but it's not recommended to use the dialog user in the, so in the background job administration, background jobs, RFC administration. So we cannot use the system user. We cannot use the system user in the, so in the dialog. So we have to use, we cannot use the dialog user. We have to use the system user in, so in the background jobs mode. Now, while running the background job, if you are using the dialog mode, if user is locked, then so your jobs may fail it. So that's the reason you cannot use the, so dialog user in the background jobs. You have to use the system user while scheduling the job, right? That is the thing. So one more thing. So system user. So system user, they cannot log in from SAP GUI. Why? Because it's in the background job mode. We can use it. There is no initial password for the system user as well, right? If you select that, there is no initial password. Just only dialog users have the initial password. Then each user can select, reset their password. They can log into the SAP systems. Those are the, so dialog users. We are the dialog users. Humans are the dialog users. Then communication user. So what does it mean by communication user? For communication purpose between two systems like RFC calls. So communication means, what is mean by communication? RFC destinations, right? Through RFC destinations we can communicate it. So that, so in the RFC destinations time we will use the communication user. So this communication data user is for communicating between RFC. Suppose you want to maintain the some external systems, external RFC calls, that time you can use the communication user. Then so reference user. Generally, so reference user means logon not possible. You can see here, logon not possible. Just to reference purpose, additional authorizations. Some additional authorizations That purpose we will use the reference user. Service user means, so service user, dialogue users, a large anonymous group of users. Service level we will use the service user. Most usable users are dialogue or system users. Dialogue or system users. Now we'll start creating the dialogue user. Okay, so I'm creating the dialogue user, just setting the initial password. Okay, so user group, so if you have the group, you can select the group, means suppose all basis user in the one group. So suppose like security persons in the security group, so super users in the super user groups, so that groups we can select it. So suppose one super group is exist by default, you can select it. So what is the validity from when one was is the user is valid from only 1 year, 2 years? What is the validity period? If you set only user can work only that period. If you don't set, is the unlimited. So these all are the optional actually. Only here passwords, the type of user is very important here. Then address field, here it is very important. Here what is the title, last name is very important. So these two tabs very important. SNC in your organization, if you are using the SNC, you can use it. If not, you can remove it. So defaults means the start menu. How will be the your start menu like this? So start menu. So we have the menus, start menus. So means whenever you log into the system, you will get the start menu, right? Start menu. Suppose like I will show you here. So this is the start menu. So how will be the your start menu like this? So user menu, start menu. So you can create the your own menu also. We can create it. So if you want, you can assign this start menu also. That is not required, mandatory. So language. What are your logon language? English. Maybe if you want, you can select it. Otherwise, by default, English only. So decimal notifications. How will be the notifications? So some countries they have the dot, comma. So our countries we have the comma and dot. So how you want to, you will be the display the date, month, year? Yes, right. So how you want to display the time format? Is the 24 hours time format? So or what will be the time format you want to display? You can display it. So what is the output device? If you already printers are configured printers, so you want to assign the printer to user, you can assign the printer by default printer, you can assign it. So print immediately they want to. So time zone, what is the time zone you want to display? So India time zone, you can display it. I don't want to India time zone. I want to UK time zone should be displayed. So then you can select the respective time zone. You can display it. So these all are the option. Only logon tab is the main thing here. So any parameters you can ignore it. Nothing. So roles already. So role concept here. So what is this user you are creating for? What is this user you are creating for? Is the basis user, administrator user? What is this exactly user you are creating for? So if you go to the role, so you have the already, so many multiple roles are available in the system. Already the roles are available in the system, the roles. So already when you are doing the installation, you will get the multiple roles from the system, multiple roles. Is the contractor, so professional, what is the role he is going to perform it? AP, cost manager, so account reversible manager. So what is that exactly? You can see the description. So HR, purchasing, tax consultant, audit consultant, so batch user administrator. What is this person usually? So you have the roles, standard roles already defined in the systems, already there. So if you want to use the standard roles, you can use the standard roles, right? Security perspective. But normally every organization, the people will create the custom roles, they will create it. Custom roles, you can create it. So custom roles means you have to go to the PFCG transaction code again. You have to go to the PFCG transaction codes. So then there you have to create the role concept. Role, you will get the role. So what is mean by role means? So role is here creation of the role. So here you can go to the PFCG transaction code, right? PFCG transaction code. Here PFCG
Sir,
roles and authorization maintenance. Yes.
what is the difference between single role and composite role?
Yeah, I'm coming to that point. Just now I opened the role, right? So I will explain it. Yeah,
Okay.
single, I will explain it now. Okay, so now role, so role we are creating now, so you can use the SAP standard roles. Actually you can use the SAP standard roles which are already there present in the systems, you can use it. But if you don't want to use the so standard roles, you can create the custom roles, you can create the custom roles. So custom roles always starts with the jet star or Y star, you can use it. Already we have the few test roles are available here. Few the custom roles are already available, which are created by the system during the installation time. System already created this one. Okay, so you don't want to use these roles. You want to, for your company, you want to create the so you want to create the role here. You want to create the one custom role. Then I can create like z underscore so basis so level 1 team, L1 team, like that. I'm creating the so one role I am creating here. Okay, one role I am creating the role here. Okay, you can see here. So role I am creating the role here. Okay, just confusing part from here onwards. So just to listen carefully here. So just why, because this is a just small confusing part here. So after the role concept, authorizations, we providing the authorizations, so roles, groups. So some confusing part, you're confusing, just ignore it. So why? Because it's purely for the it's purely for the in the organization, it's purely security persons, they will create it. Security persons, they will create the roles. The security persons, they will create the roles in the system. Security persons, they will create the roles in the systems. Okay, so you can see now. So I'm going to create the role now. So single role or composite role here. So composite role means consist of single roles. Multiple single roles we can assign. We can club. We can assign to the one composite role instead of assigning the single roles to the user. So we can just create the one single composite role. We can create the one composite role and assign all the single role to the one composite role. We can assign it. That is the composite role here. Okay. So normal role means which you are creating. Suppose like see here. So click on the single role. This is only single role we are creating. Composite means multiple roles, single roles you are combining and you are assigning to the composite role. Composite, that is what. So you can see it here. Okay, so here the description. So maybe if you want to put description, maybe a description you can put like so level 1. So basis team, level 1 basis team role I'm creating here. So menu. So what is you want? First you have to save the role here. You want to save the role. Base role. Maybe this is the base role actually. This is the base role here. So menu we have to create it here. So go to the which one you want to assign it that. So this role. So which one means are you going to assign the transaction codes, some web pro applications, some Fiori applications, some reports you want to assigning to this user. So what you want to create it here? What you want to create it? Suppose instead of Fiori roles, applications, all are available. Everything you can assign to the user. So you want to assign the transaction code to the few transactions. Why? Because these are the level 1 basis team. You want to assign only few transaction code to the level 1 base team. Why? Because level 1 basis team is required the only display access or only small access they required. They don't require the user creations and everything. That time you don't assign. So for basis team, they require the SM50 transaction code, some SM51 transaction codes. Normally, multiple roles we have to create it. Otherwise, the security person they will deploy it. That's why. So if you are confusing, just ignore this concept. Okay, maybe ST22 concept, ST22 transaction codes, then SM04 transaction codes. Suppose AL08 transaction code for level 1 team is required mainly for these transaction codes, right? Just click on the assign these transactions, assign these transactions, and also you can assign the transaction to the SU53. Also, you can assign to the user. Okay, just you assign in this transaction. The menu is changing now, right? Just assign these transactions. Go to the workflow. Okay, it should come to green status. Go to the workflow. If you have any workflow task assigned, just you can assign the workflow. So workflow mainly for the approval purpose. So approval the timesheets, leaves, payments, everything they will use the workflow tasks here. So if you don't have any workflow, just ignore it, the workflow here. Here we don't have any workflow as well. Okay, so then go to the authorization. This is the very important crucial part. This is the authorization. Here just click on the, so here we need to generate the authorizations actually. Go to the here. So then here we need to generate the authorization. Why? Because so which authorization? which authorization you have to assign it here. So which authorization you have to assign it here. So which means, so you want to assign it to the, so you want to assign it assign only display access. In the transaction codes you have assigned, in the menu you have assigned the transactions. Fine. But which access? Only display access or write access, change access? What access you want to assign to the user? So what access you want to assign the user? So then, so this authorizations, so this authorization profile. So if you just scroll down, change authorization data, then you have to go to the here. Then it's a saving. Just to give a minute. Yeah. So other side actually the SGen is running. That's why you see the it's a very slow. So you assigned this transaction codes to the one user you assigned. So one role you assigned this one L1 basis thing, right? So in this case, so what is the authorization level of authorization? Immediately, if you assign the role, if you assign this transaction code to the role, he cannot perform anything. But what level of authorizations you are providing here? What is the level of authorizations you are providing here? So here we need to provide the authorization object. Each transaction code, there is a authorization object. Each transaction code, there is a authorization object. In that case, you need to go to the SU24, SU24 or 22 are the transaction code. So there you can find out the what is the authorization object here. What is the authorization object? What is the authorization object for so this transaction? So suppose if you see SU53, SU53 is the evaluate the authorization check. So if you execute it, you will find the authorization object. What is the authorization object? You will get it out. Okay, so what is the authorization object you will get for? So this one you will get. So what is the correct T code? Do you know, Usha? To find out the authorization object, suppose dumps, we will take it out. Here it will display the C24.
In PFCG T code, PFC sir, we can find in PFCG T code also, no? Using AST code authorization object.
Yes. There also we can find out. But a special transit, there's a table also. Yeah. There is a transaction code also. Sorry, there is a table to find out the authorization. Yes, see here. So ST22, if you find out, these are the authorization objects for the each transaction code. Suppose if you see, so this is the transaction code for the system authorizations. Suppose the background authorization object for the background RFC. So this is the authorization object for the chain transport management systems authorization for the file access, data access. See here, number of things are there here. So number of 6. So XSS underscore T code. So this is the small general transaction code transaction started. So take one authorization object here, click on the OK button. So here you will get the manual assigning here. Okay. So then go to the transaction code here. So what is the level of authorization you are assigning here? Full access or display access? What is the authorization you want to assign it? So there is a access methods are available here. There is a access methods are available. What level of authorizations you have to assign it? So then maybe give the full access. So what's that? server system, right? Then generate it. You have to generate it. So I'm not going to discuss in detail way, maybe some organization levels, so maintain the authorizations. So not going to discuss, you will get confused. There are a few people, so I'm not going to discuss here. So then you generated the authorization objects. So now save the role here. Now you saved the role here. You saved it now, right? So you created the role, then go to the users. Then here you can assign the role to user. So what is the role you created? So Z underscore L1 monitoring, right? You assign this transaction, you assign this role to the user, right? You assign this role to the user. Then now user is created, basis user is created, right? Go to the now log off all the sessions. Okay. Now so log in with system basis user one. So I'm resetting the password. So still we have the scope to explain it, the security topic like authorization levels, maintaining the group and those things. But initial things you don't require. See here. So here we have created the role, right? So menus and roles for the role we have assigned. These are the transaction codes. So you can check it out. You can check it out that what are the things. But here you can see general T code one the authorization object we assigned, but that authorization object does not, you are not authorized to use the transaction code, means you are not authorized. Go to the SM51, you assigned. So for SM51 you got the access now, you got the but restricted authorizations, you don't have the full authorizations in SM51 as well. Suppose only few transaction codes you assign to that role you assign to the one user. So that user means this user has only limited access he is having, only limited access he is having. So now you can perform only these transaction codes, you can access it. So if you can access it, but if you access suppose like different transaction code, suppose SM01, then you will get the message like you are not authorized to use the transaction code SM01. Suppose if you use the SM02, so you got it, right? So like that, few transaction codes you got the access, few you are not. So then how can I find out? So suppose I have the authorization errors. If you go to the SU53, you can just check the evaluation of the your authorization data, authorization issues. What are the object it is missing? S underscore ADMI FCD, ADMI FCD GUI. So these are the authorizations objects are missing. These are the authorization objects. The fields are missing in your so role. For this role, these are the objects are missing. Then again, you have to ask the security person. If you send this screenshot to the security guys, the security person, they will assign. So they will go to the system. So they will go to the PFCG. Then the role, they can go to the role, right? They need to edit it again. Go to the authorizations, then go to the change authorization data. So here, okay, go to the manually, then you can assign what is the object is missing here. Suppose like S underscore ADMI underscore FCD. So S underscore ADMI underscore FCD. So this is the missing here. Then go to the manually system administration activities, right? This is the missing here. So here, so what level of authorization you required? Only basis audit display access, only input session management, OL administration, what level of access here, what level of activities they have to perform, what level of activities they have to perform. By assigning this object, we have following activities they can perform it, right? So what activities? Suppose you can assign the full authorizations, then generate it, Now save it, right? Generate, save, generate it. So generated. Now the role is generated. Now you can save it. Now go back. Now go back. So now just you can perform. So same transaction code. Just log out and log in. Then you can access the ST22. Just log out and log in. So then you can access the. So you can now you can see. So basis. Now go to the ST22. So still you are having, you are not authorized to use the ST22 transaction codes. So what is missing again? Go to the SC53. What is missing here? So you can see here. So there is a s_develop. One more object is missing. Then one more object is missing. So like that, we need to assign all these groups, all this to the one role or multiple roles. We can assign it. So like this, we have to create the role, and we have to go to the role. We have to create the role, then assign, go to create the role and assign the authorizations and activities to this object. So don't worry, you don't confuse it. So normally every organization, we have the security people, they will assign, they will create, and they will assign to them. So composite role means, so suppose I'm creating the z_basis. Click on the composite role. So which means, so you can assign multiple roles to this user. So multiple roles. What is the use role? s_basis role. What is the role here? Multiple roles you can assign to this user. Multiple roles you can assign. L1 basis team. One is the one role you assign to this one. And what is the other roles? What is the other role you can assign it? Suppose like you want to assign any other. So whatever the roles you want to assign to this user, so you can assign it. Normally choose randomly, then you can save it. Then so composite means multiple single roles we can assign it to we can group it as the one composite role. One composite role we can group it, so that, so instead of assigning all roles, we can make it one composite role. We can assign it to the user itself. Here also you can directly go to the user. You can assign it to the here. So organization level means, so levels of authorizations. Like organizations, so each organization there is a organization tree structure. So that tree structure we have to define it. So then we have to assign it. Only HR team. So in each organization, the functional team also we have the multiple. So multiple functional modules are there, right? So based on that, they have to assign this organizational unit and everything. But for your case, now you are in the initial stage. You don't require all those things. You can ignore it now. Okay. Once you are perfect with the basis related activities, so one day I will explain about the detailed way about the other things about the organization levels and everything. Now, if I explain the security, you will get confused. Just you can remember how to create the users. That's it. Suppose basis user or basis one user, or we can take it my user. So here, so just instead of doing that one, instead of we can create the user. Maybe if you want to delete the user, you can delete the user also. You can, if you want to log. So if you want to log the user, you can log the user. The user is not. So if you lock in the user, now user cannot log into the system. So because the user ID is locked. Suppose you are logging to the system with the basis user, you cannot log it. Why? Because user is locked. Notify the person responsible, which means security person. So you need to inform to the security guys. You have to inform it, right? So if you want to delete the user, you can delete the user as well. If you want to reset the password, you can also reset the password. Suppose user is forgot the password. You want to reset it, you can reset the password as well. Okay, so that is the password reset option. So everything is possible from the SU01. It's a single user creation. Suppose just you can delete. If you want to delete, you can delete the user also. All the everything will be deleted. User will be deleted from the, so mail user, everything will be deleted. So that is the, so you can do it from the SU01 for the user ID creations. So you can also create the user, copy the user from other. So everything we can do it from here, right? So here, this is the user ID SU01 transaction code. So normally, So every organization, so in the small organizations basis, we have to take care of the security. But if you go to the big MNC companies, so most of the cases you have the security, separate security team. So they will take care of the all the security things and everything. But if you know some basics, that is fine. So but see here, so basics user, if you want to need full authorization, just also you can copy from other user. Suppose we have the full authorizations like DDIC, just copy everything from the DDIC directly. You can reset the password, just you can set the password, super user, then user is created, simple. So you no need to define the any group, any role, any parameters, anything, roles or nothing. Why? Because it will come automatically. It will come all authorizations. You can come automatically. Why? Because you copied from the basis user. It will come automatically. So when you are logging to the system, the basis with initial password, you can use it. Then you can reset the password. You can access whatever you want to access. Just you can access in the system. So whatever the transaction code you have access. Why? Because the DDIC user is the super user. It has all the authorizations, all over the systems. It has all our HR, accounting, logistics, all our authorizations to the system. So you can open it. You can open the system. So you can open it. You can perform the activities. Okay. So this is the so just initial discussion about the user management. Just user creation, roles creation, single role, composite role. So normally all are single roles only. Multiple single roles we will assign to the one composite role. So that is the thing. And yeah, authorization objects SC24 or 22, or there is some table also SC16. You can see SC16 also there is a table to find out the here. Finding out the authorization object is very important here. Role we can create it, but the correct authorization we have to assign to the user. Correct authorization you have to assign to the user. So there is a table actually UST12, I guess. Yes, UST12 is the table. So here all authorization objects, each transaction code, all authorizations related information will be stored here. What is the authorization object for each and every transaction code that will be stored? Let's see. Still it is downloading something error. So it's taking time because of currently SGen is in progress in the systems. So that's the reason it is in progress. Let me see how many work process are free. So see here all are running status, only 2 are free. So currently SGen is running in the system, which will help to compile the speed up the programs and compile all the programs and everything here. See here still these many objects are there here. Still these many objects are there in the system. So it may take some time. So what you can do, so you can go to the table. Yes, we got the table. See here. So there is a field actually. So here each transaction, each objects. So what is the field? What is the field you need to select it? So fields. This is the table actually. Table level. Table level all will be stored here. Table level. Maybe go to the here. Maybe SM50. Let's say in the SM50, not this one. SM50. This is the object. So authorizations. How many entries are there? 144. 1,44,000 authorization entries are there. So table level you can ignore it. So only SU22 or 24 you can find out the you can find out the authorization objects. You can go to the here, just enter the any one of the transaction code here, just execute it. You will get the just execute it. So you will get the authorization download or upload authorizations. SU22. Yes. You can get the respective fields, objects, everything you will get. So what is this authorization object? All these things you will get it out from here. Okay, so yeah, this is about the small discussion about the security. But still, we have security means it's not very simple, but we have many things are there as I mentioned. So we have HR security, GRC security. So and also in the R3 security also we have many things are there. Organizational units checking, assign the role to the contextual group and everything are there. But initial basics you can learn it. Later I can explain the more in detailed way. Okay. So and also what you need to do here,